Okay, so we worked some examples on how to solve exponential equations. Let's now look at solving logarithmic equations. All right, and of course, we always start out with something simple, or somewhat simple anyway. What about 2 log, let's say 4 of x is equal to, what could that be equal to? I don't know, we'll just say 3, make up some number. Alright, so we want to solve for x in this problem. And what I'm going to do here first off is I'm going to rewrite this as log base 4 of x, and I'm going to take the 2 back up into the exponent here because this is just part of your log properties, is equal to 3. Now we're going to get it out of logarithmic form and put it into exponential form. Alright, and we do that by taking the base and just kind of pretend you're just scooting it here to the right. And so this becomes 4 raised to the 3rd power is equal to x squared. Alright, x squared. And now to get rid of this square here, you just simply square root both sides. So we just square root both sides. And when we do that, we have to write a plus or minus over here. Alright. So we end up with x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 4 to the 3rd. Alright. So what in the world is that? Right? What is that? Well, one thing, okay, we've got this number and we've got x is equal to negative square root of 4 over 3. We can actually simplify this down a little bit after looking at this for a second. This is 4 squared times 4, okay, under the radical here. You can break this up as the square root of 4 squared times the square root of 4. Who would have known by just looking at that? So the square root of something squared is just that something, times the square root of 4 is just 2. So we got x is equal to 8. And then of course we can do the same thing over here. This would be x is equal to negative 8. Alright, and so we end up having 8 and negative 8, but what we got to be careful is these numbers must be in the domain of our function up here. So the question is, are they in the domain? Can you take a negative number and plug it into the log function? Right. Regardless of what the base is here. Okay. Even though I'm just kind of rewriting it back to this. Alright. So what is the domain of a log function? Right? What is the domain of this guy? Well, the domain would be actually the range of its exponential, of the inverse of this function. Now I think what we're going to do is graph. We're going to graph what the log function looks like so you can see the domain. Alright, we're using a Google graphing utility. Now we said 8 was our x, and there it is, as you can see. And if you look right up here at y is 3. Okay? And you notice that we can't plug any negative numbers